Vrindavan pranams to all of you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, pioneer and visionary of life altogether in this world. What to speak of coming in harmony with nature, coming in harmony with yourself, creating family and community. Srila Prabhupada really gave us the fundamental understanding in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is ecology? What is the respect Mother Nature deserves? Mother Nature in itself is just like what it says, Mother. Mother Bhumi. And Mother deserves topmost respect. This is where we fail in this society. Male-predominated society, which regards Mother Nature as simply a source. Regard Mother Nature simply as a source of substances, matter, to increase wealth, to increase sense gratification. So, when we don't understand the nature of Mother, then we also don't understand our position as children. Children, when they grow up, they have to make sure Mother is well. That's a little thing you can do as far as reciprocating with the person who brought you up and kept you alive all through your childhood. And as a matter of fact, Mother is continuously providing the psychological background of a healthy togetherness. Family and Mother cannot be separated. So today, thank you for inviting me to come in here to Srila Prabhupada's Krishna Balaram Mandir and to have a little bit of reflection and memory of Prabhupada's vision on Daivik Varna Ashram. Now, Daivik Varna Ashram is something that's very broad. It includes education, it includes skills, it includes everything. And everything comes from Mother. So you cannot have handicrafts without organic materials. You cannot have good food without a very happy relationship with Mother Earth, which obviously means taking care of her nicely and making sure there's a recycling of the the fertilizers which we are producing from our compost and all that. Relationship with the animals, with the manure, the gobar. So all this is so substantial, because if you come in there with what they call the Green Revolution, first they had the Green Revolution, putting chemicals all over the land, and getting some results, the urea just kept producing. Practically, finally, we're eating urea. We're not eating any real food, healthy food, but somehow other. If you go into statistics, the diseases are increasing all over the world, but we still ask those silly questions. Is urea good for health? Is glyphosate good for health? Can we still go on using that stuff in huge quantities and still call ourselves progressive intelligence, etc.? So, if we go by the statistics, we will not get the real answer, because these statistics and these researches are usually funded by the wrong people. And those who are like the Bliss people, no, they don't have a laboratory of huge dimensions and make like world research of substance which will be recognized by Harvard University yet to say, hey, here's the evidence. We are killing ourselves. And if somebody comes up, like these guys who came up with the research on the nasty effects on the little mouse from the transgenics, then this will be thrown out as this is faulty research. And then they keep arguing and arguing and arguing. Anyhow, I don't want to tire you, because you are all, in a way or another, experts in these fields. So why say something which you already know? So, what I'm coming here to you to bring is the very beautiful feature which Prabhupada has given to us in the form of the eco-village. Now the eco-village, let me be honest. Yeah, we have a lot of farms out there in South America trying to follow Srila Prabhupada's inspiration. But they're not huge farms. They're small projects. They're projects, they can start with 3 acres, or they can go up to 100 acres, but they're basically small units. And we have been successful of creating small units of communities which have the sharing feeling, which means we are really oriented towards the people who have some interest in Mother Nature. And as I was working in this in South America, like Radha Madhava was saying, only in the last 5 years I got intensive contact with the original communities, which in South America we are proud of. We still have 1,000 living tribes with their own language, with their own construction style, their own worship of God style. Very interesting. And some of them, like especially from the Sierra Nevada in Colombia, the Arhuacos, if you go there, it just blows your mind. They will not allow any plastic there. They don't allow one cloth which is not made by them. They only wear what they have spun themselves and made only. It's interesting in that culture, all the cloths, even for the women, has to be made by men. They're the ones who are doing all the cloth work. Anyhow, if you want to see followers of Mahatma Gandhi to the extreme, well, they go and visit those communities. They're to an extreme. They believe in it. Mother Nature is providing all, and we have to take care of her in such a wonderful way by offering our prayer, our thanks, and all that in their way, in their language, but very close to our Vedic understanding. And Dayan Varna Ashram, I would say they very close to receiving the title of having accomplished it, without the full Vedic culture exposed there. But it's very true, their concern for Mother Nature is really helping them. If somebody can sit here and put the next picture, otherwise I have to start researching for buttons. So we have created an interest in this area together with the public, and that's what makes our farms really thriving. That is the one before still. This is the defending the rights of Mother Nature. That we have to understand that even there has to be some legislation. In most countries they have no legislation, no regards. Now Bolivia, Ecuador, and the city of Mexico have actually given legal rights to Mother Nature. Now they are just training up the lawyers. There's something called, we call it the parrot lawyers. They're parrots who are calling the justice. And they are actually now in the move of defending the Mother Earth from the mega mining, from the big mining operations, which are so unconscious that it is difficult to believe. They don't care. They're just international companies that come in, they get licenses with bribes, and huge amounts. You're talking about 80,000 square kilometers, and they just want to pull out the oil, chop down all the trees, look if they find gold there, and when they leave some lunar craterscape behind, where you can't grow anything, there's chemicals all over. They took the money with them, they left for the local. And what about the animals who live there? What about the local people there? No concern given to them, absolutely. And that's where we come in with the rights of Mother Nature. And that is what has connected our farms in a very wonderful way with the local people, because they see here is somebody who agrees with us that there's a personal aspect to nature. Water has a personality. Air has a personality. Earth has a personality. And the Creator is the well-wisher of all. So you cannot sustain a concept where someone's profit can devastate the living sustenance for whole bunches of people, bunches of living entities. So therefore, this has been a part of our Daivic concept is in this moment trying to protect Mother Earth, being part of the solution. Now we can go to the next one. So many people have come to us, and in this regard we are doing something which we call networking. Really, our networking, we don't call it networking, we call it the tapestry. Weaving. What we really do is we weave, because weaving is very good, because a cloth strongly woven, it cannot be torn apart very easily. It has so many connections. So this weaving process on all levels with those people, like the different eco-farms, we're weaving together. We're weaving together with the native communities. We're weaving together with the animal protection groups. We are weaving together with those who understand that chemicals are no good for the earth. So it is a very nice tapestry. And of course, we are bringing in there Srila Prabhupada in the world. We don't call it here, this is the Bhakti Yoga. We call it universal love. You have to understand that we are all parts of that divine Creator's family. You may call it, like if you know something about AA, the Alcoholics Anonymous. They have an approach where you can have a strong theistic participation, but under no condition it is being said you have to worship the Lord or mention the Lord in this way, in this name or that way. It's more like we are accepting our dependence on that Supreme Lord who has generated life, who's sustaining life, and who is our only hope to come back to our senses how to take care of this. Regardless of how you call him, doesn't matter. It is not our subject right now. Our subject is that, so in one word, in one way or another, you can say that this approach it's a very strong preaching, because many people, they're just trying to solve. Like the majority of people in this world, they think that science will solve our problems. Another chemical will be invented, another new energy form will be found, so we can just keep pouring our same system of lifestyle, and we will always be justified because this is just modernity. So in this way, but in the names of one of the founders of the World Conscious Pact, Ikwashintuna, he says, the man has to understand that the whole problem of our modern life is the lack of spirituality. If we don't understand that there's a lack of spirituality in our way of thinking, then there's no question of finding any solution. There will be no solution, just like some patchwork, some adjustments may be made, but unless we know the lack of spirituality is the root cause for our wrong relationship with Mother Nature, then there will be no way out of it. So therefore, when we approach the people around us. And here you have a few of what keeps our activities growing. These are the eco-volunteers. You may have heard of the woofers, but there's not only woofers, there's hundreds of organizations which promote voluntary farm work and voluntary understanding the need of spirituality in your relationship to Mother Earth. I was surprised, like in some cities, I said, oh, you get a woofer, you get a guy from Canada, from the US, from Australia, or from Israel, but I never expected that I'll be getting volunteers from the local city, from the local people there, and that they will go do a day of work, plus give a donation for the food they eat, plus to participate in the meditation and everything, and they're just grateful that you invited them. I never knew that. I didn't know what treasure I had in my hand with those eco-communities. I thought, well, first of all, when we started getting our little eco-communities, it was only one thing: get the women and the children out of these nasty cities. Let them have nice weekends in the beautiful surroundings with clean water. Let's not torture our whole community. It's nice at Brahmachari, you can go anywhere and preach, even in the subway in New York or in London. He can do that, tapasya. But let's not have our children grow up in these environments. That was what was on my mind in those days. But then later I came to discover the rights of nature, universal love. This is something which unites us with the real people. Like when I think of the volunteers who come to our farms, I must tell you, they're the cream of mankind. They're the very cream. They want to help, they want to be part of the solution. They're not coming there to, following an advertisement, how to become a millionaire in 1 week or something, you know. They're not this type of clientele. They are people who are actually interested in Mother Earth, in life, in sacredness and all that stuff. So because only sacred things. So then there's another one we are catering to. These are the Hindu youths. There's so many Hindus in the US and in several countries. And their youth, they still believe in something from India, but they have not seen it. They can't see it. The American life, the university life they're going through, that really has discouraged them. But when they can come to such a community, like Radha Jivana's son, he came to our farm, and he was blown away. He said, I never knew that you can live like this and worship Krishna somewhere in Peru, somewhere in Ecuador, and see how wonderful this blends in with the whole environment, because the needs of the agriculturists, the needs of the people is the same everywhere. We need clean water, we need healthy earth, we need clean air, otherwise our life is not going to have a good future. So the Hindu youths are really we're catering to, and we're getting a very nice result, because since they have some Hindu background, they also get some interest in giving some support to this type of efforts. And then there's eco-activists, those who are really in the mood of, we want to work for this place, we don't want to be silent. And there's plenty of those. And those eco-activists, when they hear that there's ashrams where there's yogis who are also eco-activists, they even though many of the eco-activists are quite atheistic, because there's been a kind of a preaching in this area, you know, that religion is guilty for everything, no? And they threw out the baby with the bathwater. So they said, okay, anybody has to do something with religion, they are not really interested in defending nature. But when they come to see, like for example, we are catering many of the events where people get together for Mother Nature, they must call us to cater, because they love prasada. So they know it, they understand it or not, but they said, I heard that even in South Africa when I went there to the World Parliament of Religion, they said, they made a statement there that we may be all nice, religions all around the world are doing our efforts, but when it comes to the kitchen and the cooking and the food, it's the Hare Krishnas. They have it control. They know what's the right thing. So this spirit is growing in these areas. People appreciate prasadam, and whatever is there in the prasadam science of today. Of course, the prasadam science has also increased its quality. There's organic prasadam, there's vegan prasadam, there's this prasadam, that prasadam, there's raw food prasadam. So it's like something, for many people the food world has had some evolution. We can't deny that. And therefore, when Srila Prabhupada came to the West, he didn't make much of an issue on white sugar, because that's what's the only thing which was there. At that time, stevia, nobody even knew. Nowadays, we grow stevia, and we sweeten most of our food with stevia, always the gore directly. So in this way. So again, the catering also goes to the students of nature. Although this is the same one we had. Next one. So a contribution is given to this by all those eco-yoga villages, the Vrindavan Institute for Vaishnava Culture and Studies, and then we have the UTSAV, it's the University of Ancient Wisdom, and the World Conscious Path. These are the organizations which are taking responsibility here. They are saying, here we have answers. But we are not sectarian. We're not saying, hey, you gotta be a Hindu, or you gotta be somebody who follows the Vedas, then you're welcome here. No, we have a very open door policy, and everybody who wants to help to protect Mother Nature is simply welcome. So especially the University of Ancient Wisdom has a development of courses which people can take online, and they can also come there. So people, you know, how much people want to go and say, hey, I took a course in permaculture. Oh, they love it. You know, they're ready to spend $500 for that. And whatever approach you may take. But the matter of fact is that the permaculture is the future. Permaculture means the difference between monoculture and permaculture. You know it all well. Permaculture means turning a piece of land into a botanical garden. It becomes beauty. It becomes a place of birds and bees and everything. Whereas monoculture turns a place into hell, even though it may be green. But it's a green hell. And the groundwater is rotten, and there are no more other species. Oh, it is hell. So this is something which people don't know. They say, oh, it's green. That must be nice. No, forget it. You know, go down. Permaculture is the sustenance. It's the love to life comes into permaculture. So then you want to get people to come and participate. So we offer them a course backed up by a university, backed up by the ancient cultures, and of course the Daivik Varna Ashrama is our culture. It's what we get from Srila Prabhupada. And all these things, every single word I say, is nothing against the concept of Prabhupada. Prabhupada had even a larger concept. He had a large concept of buying the whole world and turning it into a Vaishnava communities, you know. I mean, it was like, that's why he started with huge projects. They also went into some huge problems later because of some things had not been very clearly understood how it can work. So, I mean, but that's why in a way, I was very cautious, and I said, let me try it the bonsai way. Let me try it the small scale. And then when I see how it's substantial and sustaining, then I can grow from that bonsai stage. That's why we have many farms, not one or two or three huge projects where everybody is like inside. No, plus forming leadership. Because we need leaders. Only real leaders who have also the love and the experience, they will actually further this. So in this way, we have created these alliances with these organizations, which you can personally research further. So then this is already what I mentioned. We provide excellent vegan food. Vegan food mainly because that's what the young people ask for these days. They want to be safe. You know the discussion. We can protect cows, then we are vegetarian. We are lacto-vegetarians. If we cannot protect cows, then it's a question of what's your philosophy, how you go about it. But protecting cows is not that easy. Many people talk about it, and in India, of course, you have more success in this, and I'm very happy about the Bliss efforts, because really, we are lacto-vegetarians, we are Krishna followers. Krishna is yogurt, butter, and everything, but not the Western style. And not the Western cow, and not the exploitation, and not... I went to South India, to Hyderabad, and they introduced me to they said, there's a great Goshala, they're really doing a great job. It was right next to the ISKCON one, which kind had almost stopped. And then I went there, and I found all these injection things for the cows. So they were a Goshala producing milks, and they were injecting the cows in Hyderabad. So one has to look a little deeper in when one wants to talk about cow protection, whether how much is it a real reality, what is going on, what is the real cow, the best cow's milk, the healthy cows. I practically took a change in my approach when I heard a lecture in Mayapur by one scholar, by one Indian scholar, where he said, that milk which you get in the Western world from this industry will make all of you sick. It's not healthy, it's not the milk. So I thought, well, just for the sake of being a Krishna devotee, I have to drink milk which makes me sick. So, and make the devotee sick, or let's find out more. Anyhow, I just wanted to say, whether vegan or vegetarian, the prasadam is the best. And therefore, we go on with this. The next thing is we create ecological seed banks. I went to Dehradun and studied with Dr. Vandana Shiva what is a seed bank, how does it work, what is a living seed bank. And what you see here is not a living seed bank. The seed bank is in the ground, is where you grow and regrow, but you keep seeds as well. You also become aware. And these are original seeds. They are not just any seeds. They are the original seeds which are existing, like amazing. Can you imagine 1,000 different types of maize, corn, of quinoa, hundreds of varieties of quinoa, of amaranto? That what was these people had before, when they were looking after and they cared, before the enterprises moved in and very silently started taking over. Silently. Because in that way you have to leave it to them. They're very tricky and they're very expert in their things. Before you know it, they own it all. And then the people say, oh, where do we get the original seeds? And it becomes very difficult. Just last year, there was a trade pact signed between the US and Colombia. And part of the trade pact was, you can sell your items in our country and we can sell our items in your country. And in the small letters, that means that includes seeds. So, when that pact was signed, nobody really objected because people didn't understand what was going on. All of a sudden, they made a declaration that farmers are not anymore allowed to reproduce their own seeds. And as a matter of fact, the Ministry of Agriculture went into agriculture areas and destroyed the seeds which were not certified. Tons of them. Then the farmers, they watched a movie which was made by our friends, and it was called 9.70. That was the new law. And 1 million people watched it in a few weeks. And the entire country, the entire farmers of Colombia went on the streets and made a strike. So we're not going to work on the land if you restrict us. Took 17 days. The government was in denial. They couldn't believe it, that they got the whole world, the whole country against their new law, their new pact. In the end, they had to strike the law to get the farmers back on the land. So sometimes unity can be very powerful and effective. That's why we need the networking. This tapestry is life-sustaining. If we are not, so when I was invited to come and give a class here in Bliss, I say, great, let's make tapestry. We need that, because we are not very strong. Cargill and all these big industries, this agriculture, mega-size enterprises, they can blow any one of us away, but they can't blow us away all. So the tapestry is so important. And we are consumers. We have to be, as consumers, we have to make our friends aware of what we want to consume and what not. So this is also a very important part of these eco-sustaining communities teaching. We teach people. We teach people what's good for them, what's bad for them. And do it in such a way, in a very festive way. So therefore, for example, seed banks, it's quite a festival. You actually start learning about seeds. We discovered some unicorn. That's this very important corn, the original wheat corn. It is only one corn. It's not actually the two pieces. And that unicorn, that has a totally different impact. It doesn't even have gluten. So those who are gluten allergic, they can eat this. These seeds, the world of seeds is a world of itself. It's life. It's a story of Krishna, the story of Mother Nature, of Bhumi Mata, the opulence. It's a festival. Just like when you see another flower you've never seen, some of the flowers that blow your mind, you say, I can't believe it. What, this orchid or this? No? And then you see another one totally different. It blows your mind again. Who has stopped having his mind blown on orchids? It's impossible. Or you're blind or something, you know. So, and orchids, sometimes they're huge and sometimes they're teeny. But it doesn't matter. They're always fantastic. And every seed and every plant, like there's a saying, it says, every flower is a smile of God. So life and farming and permaculture, that's being in contact with God. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and farming is right next to it. And you can't have farming without cleanliness. That's why we are totally upset when we see that this society has not tackled the solid waste and is not taking it serious, especially here in India. That's why we in Vrindavan, we have a project called Vrindavan Act Now. Look it up, vrindavanactnow.com. That we have to tackle these things in our environment. We have a poisonous Varshana hill. On one side we worship Varshana Shila next to Radharaman, and we say this is just like Radharani. And then we have a hill of all these rocks of Varshana, and this is totally infested by plastic of the last 40, 50 years. They haven't cleaned it up the first times, thoroughly. What they do, they just push it off from the main roads onto the hangs down. So, and what does it do? Plastic turns into dust. Dust goes into water. Water goes into the groundwater, or it gets mixed with the soil. It's just like you eat and you're buying some fruits in the market, you're buying plastic. And even worse, well, I don't mention that, but this is, much of the plastic goes in the ocean and ends up in the fish. And the fish eaters, they will got all diseases. Tropical orchids and their healing powers. So we are not only working on the food, we are also working on the flowers and their healing. So, because Ayurveda, phytotherapy, they call it, the healing science of plants, that is so attractive. So if you have a farm, you should know. There's a saying which says, there are no weeds. There are only unknown healing plants. Every plant has some potential, has something to give. It's amazing. Some plants, they may be just there to keep the bugs away. And so in this way, if you don't know this, then you don't know what God has arranged for this world. So it's a learning experience. For us, the eco-farms is like a living Bhagavatam. You go in there and you learn, and that's what Prabhupada said to us, self-sufficiency. We're talking about self-sufficiency, then learn it. What does it mean? All the wonderful. So, for example, you have heard about Richard Bach and his flower remedies. So we have a special science in South America, the orchid remedies. And some people, they get expert in this and they teach that. And then I tell you, the people come and visit us, they go crazy about going to our orchids and find out this orchid is good for this orchid is good for that, So, and plus, it's a question of beautification. I mean, Vedic culture is full of beautiful things. It's the ragas, that's what is bharata. It is bhav, it is rag, and it's tala. It's there. It's a very living, beautiful culture. It's coming right from the heart of Lord Krishna. Just like one person just told me the beautiful story that Radharani is golden, Krishna is blue. Together they become green. That's what they do. So that's Vrindavan, that's Tulasi. It's all green, it's all beauty. No? So I just got this little hint today. So here, Agma consciousness. So we tell people, you have to study the science of being conscious about Mother Nature. And people say, yes. And they go there and become volunteers. They help us, we help them, and the idea spreads. Many of our eco-farms have come up because some volunteers have come to us and have said, my father has 3 hectares of land over there. He's doing nothing with it. He gave it to me. Can we do a project there? And then we train him up further, and he ends up making another one of the eco-yoga farms. So in other words, the volunteers, it's a very perpetuating program because it's full of bliss. So, that's why we are with Bliss. Here you just have how to solve food challenges by having the seed banks, by having your secrets, how to cultivate the earth, how to get a good yield from your organic field. So this is also very important. The first time I did it, the bugs just blew me out. They ate everything. The first time I made the cultivation and I didn't know anything about it, and the one devotee was telling me, I don't think we're going to do that again. I said, we have to do it again until we work it out. We can't give up on this. We can't just say, our ignorance is a reason not to progress. So the next thing is that we are actually in this lack of spirituality. So in our farms, we bring people to the holy name softly, in a very non-specified ways. We introduce to them that Mother Nature and the prayer and the thankfulness. This all has to take us to create harmony with nature, harmony with ourselves. And so this is where Srila Prabhupada comes in, obviously with all his teachings. So, but the meditation and the yoga, we also do some Hatha yoga exercise for the volunteers. They like that very much. We call it inbound yoga. And so inbound means they have to see that how they inside are relating to all the things outside. That is, well, I'm supposed to have 15 minutes more. Is that right?
5:15.
Okay, thank you. So meditation, chanting, all this is very important in these communities. We are training the people that this is something where your body, your mind, and your soul all becomes part of serving your divine identity. Then, by God's grace, pristine nature, our eco-yoga farms in South America, in Hungary, in Italy, wherever they are, we have been blessed by coming in contact with some of the most beautiful places. So therefore, you may say this is an invitation for you. And of course it is, because that's what they are for people to visit and share their knowledge and learn from what they have discovered. So, like for example in Peru, we have a place, there's no rain. So our constructions is kacha. It's mud, but it's already there for 25 years, so it's really sustainable. And if this, whatever you see there is destroyed, it'll be mud on the ground, nothing else. So it's something very recycling, like bamboo. Bamboo is such a fabulous construction material. Or like in Bolivia, you can see, we grow our construction material right on our farm. It's an island in the Titicaca Lake, it's called the Peace Island. And there we grow this is a totora, it's called. People have made boats with it to cross the ocean, you know. It's a very substantial stuff. And you can make houses from it, we have boats from it, and even when it's young, like bamboo, you can eat it. So it's a really amazing thing, and it's 3,800 meter elevation. So there we live. We try to construct and live in the nature as the local people. If there's tons of stones, then we get into stone building or something like that. And then we have here another example in Ecuador down there. This is deep in the jungle, so the natives have come and they have constructed our dwellings. This is with palm leaves, and that you see the smoke coming up there, because when you are living in such a hut and you need to cook inside, then it gets smoked and the insects will not take over. So in this way, it's a science to live the natural agriculture and architecture as well. So wherever we are, we try to adapt to the situation. This Nityananda ashram in Chile on top there, and this down there in Colombia is the Arhuaco place, the Sierra Nevada, and Lord Krishna was so merciful to give us a place which is called the 7 healing pools of the natives, which was invaded by the colonialists, but by some transactions, by Krishna's mercy, this property came to us, and now we share it again with the natives. So they're coming to the natural healing pools, which are remarkable. No earth, landscaper could come up with something like that. It's beyond. So just give you an example, it's very colorful, and because it's like that, then the people are very inspired to come forward and to participate. Then another one very important for us, protecting the sacred water sources. That's the first thing we do. We go to a place. Where's the water coming from? Who is polluting it? What is the situation? Let's be part. That's something which I'm missing so much, that in the environment, some of our greater communities, they should be more concerned in what's happening in our surrounding. What is the ecological situation? How can we be part of the solution? So we immediately become like this, where you see this young guy sitting. This is a sacred water coming under a tree, coming directly out. This is in Colombia. Down there's Titicaca Lake. You see those boats made from the reed. And this is in Brazil. This is one area where our eco-yoga farm is. And there's so many waterfalls. But anyhow, there is a lot of concern how to preserve this, because there's tons of activities like deforestation, which people just do it and do it and do it, and they're not looking. And now the devotees come and say, hey, we have to forest here, we have to put this. And people start listening. So we have an interaction with the community, which is to us the most important thing. It's like preaching without opening the Gita. No, there's some other preaching you can do on these levels, And to my understanding, this is really creating or giving us a foot into the relationship with the local communities, because they have generally not much information about it. Because even though in the universities, people have the awareness about these things, but they don't share it with the farmers. People are not aware. We are in a very, this society works keeping people in ignorance. By keeping people in ignorance, people just keep buying junk food and all this stuff. So in one way or another, Prabhupada always told us to go with the truth and to do everything. So, again here, South America is a place of healing plants. Ayurveda is amazing. So this is one of the things also we specify, specifically chamomile and all these things, the aloe vera. So growing healing plants is part of the eco-farm, not only food. We grow a lot of such plants, and this is very delightful. Then of course we have all the teachings which we got from Prabhupada, that most important thing is to do worship of the Lord, to say thank you for all the things you do. Do puja, do austerities, get up early, start understanding the basic principles of this relating Daivik Vana Ashrama, and then giving charity. So this is also important for us, because without the charity, how the things will go on. So the most charitable of all is Mother Nature itself. But you have to return something. You have to return, you have to give some participation, some prasadam distribution, for example, or inviting people. How to understand the need of activism and a conscious consumer life. This is for us, in our community, you could say that's what connects us with the real people, those activists. And they come again and they bring all their friends. So in this way, we really have a new basis of reflecting the Srimad Bhagavatam's teaching in a practical application. People always ask us, what do you do in practical life? What do you do for the people? I say, we teach them what's good, which will make their life sustainable and healthy. And so this activism, this is the logo of the World Conscious Pact, which actually was created by the native communities, and they invited us specifically to be part of it. Then there, I already mentioned this. This is, there's some of this pristine location we have been connected with. This is a mud volcano in Colombia. And then there is protecting the sanctuary of ancient cultures. We want to protect Braj Mandal, but we also want to protect all the beautiful places where people have given thanks to Mother Nature. This is really what makes life extraordinary, and people will respect us. Then there is the Kiva, what you see there, that is a temple of the heart of Mother Earth, that was constructed by the Huicholis from Mexico, but by some arrangement of Lord Krishna, they built it right inside our eco-yoga farm in Colombia, and within a few days, on the 9th to the 12th of December, will be the closing ceremony of the Kiva. That is a closing ceremony every 4 years. The sacred places of the natives switch to another place. This closing of this ceremony goes along simultaneously with the closing of the COP21 in Paris, where the heads of the world's nation are meeting to give guidelines to survive in the climate change. And these people simultaneously doing this meeting, this wasn't planned that way or by cosmic planning, There's more than 100 chiefs, elders, mamos. They're coming together to spell out their guidance for what they will think. They already said a total no to all the transgenics. They also said no to chemical agriculture and so many other things, because these people, just like our Brahmins, like our rishis, they have a different way of getting their knowledge. They have their consultations, what is right and what is wrong, and they have decided in this way. So this is something just brings you up to date to what we are doing, even to our timeline of where our eco-yoga farms are going. Then we also recommend people, that's something we do, we have sweat lodges, which are Temazkal, where in different places people can go in there and we chant mantras with them. It's like an experience like going into the womb again and thinking about, now I'm inside of you, Mother Earth, and you repent. It's a purification process which is very popular in America. America means Abhyayala for us. It's the land of the different nations. Then finding the key inside ourselves, that is through the perennial psychology, we are teaching people the grace of Shraddha, that we all have a chance to believe in what we do. We don't have to accept what people want to impose on us. So this is part of the teachings of the ancient wisdom, that actually means it's basically Brahminical. Each Brahmin, each individual has a right and a need for his own conviction that he can take a real step into this struggle. So we're trying to train people to be leaders and responsible. That's new for them, because people in university, you're just made dependent on systems. And in the so-called religions, you're also made dependent on religious dogma. But you're not given the chance and the need. Hey, you got to come to the front and you got to take over what is going to be the good thing for your children, etc. So this is another feature we have there. Then, of course, we also have protecting seniors, so that is part of our community, the greater family, so people can find shelter, like orphans need shelter by somebody, and the old people often need shelter. So we also do that in our eco farms. We provide places so elderly people can live and die in nature and not strung to a hospital with tons of tubes inside. Following the angels, of course, this is our angel. Srila Prabhupada was a pioneer of self-sufficient community. We offer our respect to all lovers of nature and the brothers and sisters in all species. So now if you have any questions, there's 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
I'll use that.
Okay, here.
I was going through the slides, and it seems that you've been communicating with people out there in Europe, and those are nature lovers. And even myself, I was following paganism before Krishna consciousness, but after I came to know about Krishna consciousness, I came to know that when I know Mother Nature, the Supreme One is Krishna. So, and also about the vegan food. Just by example, as you said, that they don't use chemicals and all in their production. So just as cow is dear to Krishna, and I think that cow products, like the original cow products, which are not like artificially inseminated or something, are the best source of healing products. So I'm teaching them about, by example, that cow stuff is the ultimate healing stuff for you, and they start to accept the lacto-vegetarianism, and you also start to teach them about Krishna consciousness. So I take the next step for them to understand Krishna, by going through all this. That's what I wish.
Thank you. There's nothing here? Yes. Well, we are talking about self-sufficiency, not about preaching to natural communities. This is only a side effect which comes along. When you love people, you share with them. Now, first of all, they never had cows there. The cows was brought by the Spaniards. No cows, no pigs, no chicken we had. And the people had only the llamas, that natural animal of America, of Abiyala, and they were not killing this animal. They were kept as for wool and like this. They were not killed. Basically, you could say that many of the nature communities, they were vegetarians. Some of them stopped being vegetarian by the colonial influence, but they have great sympathy. And as far as our converting people, well, we leave that up to Prashad and to share with the devotees. To associate with the devotees is a miracle remedy. It happens, it does things. You don't always have to push your point into people, much less to people who have been imposed upon and threatened and killed for the last 500 years. You don't want to come on there and say, hey, we got a solution, you better do it like we do. Doesn't work that way. It works with love. And that's what Prabhupada did to catch us, with love. So it's a very amazing thing. So I wasn't concerned to speak about that subject, but since you asked.
Maharaj, what are your India plans? You want to open a farm here?
Plans in India. You have plans in India. What are your plans?
Yes, my plan in India is to create a Chokidani concept of Braj Mandal, where all of Braj Mandal should be preserved as a special zone with attention from the central government. Now it's neglected by Haryana, by UP, and by Rajasthan in very tremendous ways. We have to convince them the original Vedic culture is at home, right in front of the doorsteps of Hastinapur of Delhi. And we have to convince everybody, the farmers to go organic, to have little Sanskrit schools, to have little, the village to have, like the Maharaj said, cottage industries and no dependency on industries. And this, we have to give a model. Now, the model may not be possible all in the Braj Mandal, but in every area can be next to Russia, next to Nandagram. And the local people are participating on showing what they learned from their ancestors and so and so. Plus, they have the shrines, they have the sacred shrines. So, and all this got to be a little bit sponsored and directed. So by who, I'm not exactly sure. We are talking to everybody. So for us, Braj Mandal is the topmost importance because Prabhupada brought us here to Vrindavan. And we have seen Vrindavan grow and grow and grow and grow until the Plastic Institute started showing up, and the mess became bigger and bigger, and the Yamuna dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. I think it is our duty as devotees of Prabhupada in his family to make sure Braj Mandal is the glorious place which everybody wants to meet here when they come to see Lord Krishna and meet real Brahmins, real sweet Tirtha Gurus and Tirthas where you can bathe in the kundas, and if that means we have to install a water purifier, then let's get this water purifier. And let's get these people all working together, the same thing. We cannot work against the problems, we have to work with them. We have to make a real, like what you call it, the tapestry of bhakti, and that is the gopis and the gopas and everybody. I don't think it's impossible. It'll take a little money, a little sacrifice, and a little of working, like sharing with each other. But this is the plan in India I work for.